Welcome into the Bojangles countdown to tip off. As believe it or not, we are just a little over a week away from the CAA basketball tournament, which will take place in Washington, D.C. A lot to figure out before then, as no seedings are locked in anywhere from 1 all the way down to 13 as Campbell starts their final road trip of the season as they have three more regular season games before the tournament. First things first, Campbell is in Philadelphia tonight to take on Drexel. That's a 7 o'clock game. That will be on Flow College. And then they go down the road to Baltimore, Maryland to take on Towson. That game will be Saturday at 2. Final game of the regular season is the final home game of the regular season and senior day, as Campbell will take on NC A&T coming up this Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Should be a really good game up in Philly with a lot on the line. Campbell in the middle of the CAA standings, again, fighting for pretty much everywhere from 3 down to 11 as we get ready for tonight's game. Drexel just a game ahead of them. The last time these two teams met were here at Gore Arena, the first game of February. And it was a back and forth first half, a close first half, and then Campbell pulled away with a really, really good offensive and defensive performance in the second half. Campbell won that game 81-60 back on February 5th against Drexel. Davidas Butka had 26 points and 10 rebounds for a man's double-double. That was a game against Drexel, was at the time the best field goal percentage defensive team in the entire nation. Drexel is 3-2 since that game. They are still in the top 5 in the entire nation in field goal percentage defense. It should be a big battle in the city of brotherly love tonight. And to get a preview of the game, we caught up with Campbell Headman's basketball coach, John Andrzejek. On the road again for you guys, and you have had such a challenging road schedule in the non-conference part, and then you in your first year in the CAA getting used to this usual Thursday, Saturday turnaround. First, talk about that. The turnaround, everybody has to play pretty much the same schedule, but it's a beast in the CAA, especially when you're on the road Thursday, Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the constant dilemma we battle with it as a staff is like when you finish that Saturday game, how do you handle the next 72 hours? Do you take Sunday off and take Tuesday off and just go Monday and Wednesday and then play Thursday? Do you try to practice all 3 days? Do you go hard for one and go lighter for two? So we're trying to figure that out. I'm not convinced I've totally gotten it perfectly right every time. But we'll see. We had good practices Monday and Tuesday. That's the strategy we took. We went pretty hard because coming off that Wilmington game, I was just really frustrated with our rebounding and our physicality. And I don't. We're not the tallest team in the world. I think we're probably 330th in the country in height, which is not where you want to be. But with all that said, like we've been a positive rebounding margin team against Division One teams all year. It's something we've worked on a lot. It's something I think we take pride in, and our guys have been tough and competed, and we just weren't quite up to the task against Wilmington. Give them credit. I thought they crashed really hard and showed a lot of tenacity and grit, but that was stuck in my craw a little bit. So we worked on it Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday we did almost nothing. We just kind of traveled up here and walked through, and I think we're ready to go. We'll see. Drexel's good. They're going to present a lot of challenges. They've been very good at home, but I think our guys understand the task at hand and what we're going to try to do.
Coach, X's and O's wise for those that haven't been inside a D1 practice before. How do you practice getting better at rebounding? Because as you say, a lot of it is determination, grit, and want to, right?
Yeah, that's one I think you got to get out there and actually block people out and try to get by somebody who's trying to block you out and get the ball off the rim. There's a lot of things you can teach and coach through walkthroughs and conceptual and 5-on-0. A lot of offenses like that. Just getting your timing right, making sure your spacing's good, making sure you're reacting to penetration the right way. But rebounding kind of is what it is. You got to put the pads on and go block out and do it. And to the credit of our guys, like they owned it. They knew that that was the reason we lost to UNC Wilmington, and they had a good attitude about just working at it, getting better at it. And I'm hoping it'll show up and pay off.
You played Drexel at the beginning of the month. It was a tight first half. You guys ran away with it in the second half, ended up winning 81-60. They are and still are top five team defensively, field goal percentage defense in the country. What did you do that game, and what carries over to this one?
Yeah, I mean they're a very good defensive team. They're just schematically very tight, and their guards try hard to not get screened, whether it's on the ball or by sliding under quick. I expect this game to look a little different than last game. I hope I'm wrong, but I expect them to try some different things and change coverages a little bit. Last game they played us super inside out. So when we played our two bigs that don't necessarily shoot threes, they always kept the high bigs defender inside the foul line and just tried to muck up the rim and make it congested. And our response to that was to run offense even lower and try to, play offense inside the foul line and just constantly be putting pressure on the rim and putting in the post, throwing high lows, stuff like that. And we had reasonably good success against a very good defensive team. I expect they'll mix it up. I think we'll see some flat show. I think they'll get more aggressive, put two on the ball. Maybe they'll pressure the high big more. They've also played some 3-2 zone throughout the year, so that's something we spent a little bit of time on. I actually spent a lot of time on it going into the first game, and then they didn't play it at all. So, but that's a little bit, that's how it goes. That's life. Sometimes you spend a lot of time on something and it doesn't show up, and other times you spend no time on something and you overlook it, and then it becomes a central piece of the game. So, we'll see. We'll have our eyes peeled on the bench. I know Coach Lorenzo, kind of our offensive assistant, will be watching to see how they're guarding us, and hopefully we'll have some answers for whatever they try.
Coach, everybody's banged up this time of year. You guys, again, we've gone through it a lot. All the injuries that you suffered, particularly at the beginning and middle of the conference season. How are the guys health wise right now?
I think we're pretty good. I think we're pretty good. We did a little hot tub, cold tub contrast, which can be good for recovery yesterday. The kind people at St. Joe's University let us get in there and take care of our bodies a little bit. So we'll see. I don't think it'll come down to that. It's going to come down to, can we defend well enough? Is our rebounding return to form? Do we make some shots? And then they're good on offense too. You don't get to fourth or fifth or wherever they are in the league without being a complete team, a team that can play both sides of the ball. So it's a tough task, but I think we're totally ready for it. And let's go, man. Should be a great game.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking time with us on game day as you always do on the road. Thank you so much, and best of luck tonight.
Of course, roll humps. Let's go.
That game coming up tonight on Flow College at 7 o'clock. This has been a year where Campbell offensively has broken so many records, from arena records to team records. One record of interest is the fact that Jeremiah Johnson and DJ Smith, two Campbell teammates that have both had games where they have scored 30 plus points. The last time that happened, back in 2019, when Chris Clemens and his teammate Andrew Udy both reached the 30-point plateau during that year. Chris Clemens, of course, averaging over 30 points per game that entire year, as he ended up leading the nation in scoring. We have a lot going on this weekend in the Creek, even though the Campbell basketball team will be on the road. Of course, they play Towson coming up Saturday at 2 o'clock. But Campbell baseball is back in town this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Campbell will play Wright State. If you're not familiar with Wright State, they are one of the best teams out of the Midwest mid majors, as they are perennial NCAA tournament teams, including last year. They have already beaten Georgia this year. It will be a big, big challenge for Campbell, as you can come to the games this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Kids 12 and under in free to every Campbell baseball game. And the Campbell women's basketball team fighting for that top four seed. They take on a very good Towson team coming up this Friday, a special 5 o'clock start for the Campbell women's basketball team, 5 o'clock. this Friday. And then, of course, the men's team comes back home to Bowie's Creek for their final game of the regular season Tuesday at 7 against NCA&T. Crossover season is great. So many teams are playing now, and including a little bit of a shout out to the women's lacrosse team. They got a win at Charlotte yesterday as Campbell women's lacrosse is off to their best start in program history. So many great things going on in Campbell athletics as usual. Enjoy the game tonight as Campbell men's basketball takes on Drexel from downtown Philadelphia at 7 o'clock on Flow College.